What's going on YouTube? Florida Man Knives here with a quick unboxing video of a knife that I'm really excited for because this is definitely something that I will be using all the time, and it's going to be related actually to the Dragonfly 2 salt that I used to open this thing up with. But anyways, let me just make sure I don't pull out any paperwork here. Okay, they folded it up, great. DLT Trading, as you can see, is where I got this knife from. Love that they include a sticker, as always. I'll put this up here in the corner. And then getting into the actual unboxing, if you watch my channel, oh, shocker, another Spyderco. I'm really excited for this because you can see right here, it's going to be the Spyderco Siren. And there you have it. This thing is amazing. It was designed by a kayak fisherman, and I will be using this knife for fishing. Just real quick, I've used this thing, well, I've had it for well over 5 years. I've used it to cut so many fish, which is crazy because it is so small. So I'm really excited to have something a little bit larger, and oh my goodness, right away, this does feel like sandpaper. Sorry, the G10 on this is super grippy, and all the reviews say that, and it is very true. But anyways, before I get into this a little bit further, did want to give a couple shout outs. I'm approaching 100 subscribers, which is amazing. And as I open it up, in my 50 subscriber video, had a couple comments in there and wanted to give a shout out to those people. The first one's going to be Bob Gox, Bobgox, a frequent commenter, and actually requested that if I do get this knife in hand at any point, that I do some comparison videos. So really excited to do that and excited to see his comments on it. Of course, Balisong Flipping was another one of those channels that commented on my 50 subscriber video. Just go watch Brandon's videos. His channel is amazing. That's all I needed to say. And then Grugs is the most frequent commenter on my channel. Ooh, by far, GRUGGS, and yeah, just really wanted to get that out of the way, as well as Lego Chewy 18, who was my 29th subscriber. So shout out to you all, and I'll definitely be doing more shout outs in the future. But thank you all for subscribing, and let's just get into this. So you can see right there, it's going to be designed by Lance Clinton, who, again, as I said, is a kayak fisherman. He did design the Spyderco Waterway, which this is going to be very, very similar to, kind of based on the Waterway, not identical to it. I don't have the Waterway myself, but definitely go check out some videos. And as you can see out of the box, you can definitely Spidey flick this thing, no problem. This has a really, really smooth backlock, actually. I'm very surprised about that. I mean, you can see just very, very drop shutty. So into the specs on this, you're going to have a blade length of 3.61 inches, which is going to be definitely fantastic for, utilizing it for cutting up fish, rope, whatever you need to when fishing, or doing anything related to the water, really. It's going to have a handle length of 5.14 inches. Cutting edge, I did want to mention, is pretty good, especially compared to the overall size, and it's going to come in at 3.42 inches, and then your overall length is going to be 8.75. I did want to point out the blade thickness on this. Not the thickest knife in the world, not going to be as thick as a Paramilitary 2, for example, but, still relatively stout and enough backbone to break through whatever you need to during your cutting tasks. That thickness is going to be 0.125 inches, and then your handle is going to come in at exactly ½ an inch thick. The weight on this guy, let's see. It's supposed to come in, right at over 3.5 ounces, but we will definitely test that out. And it's going to be 3.49. So for the size of this thing, that is fantastic. Just real quick comparison, the Paramilitary 2 at 3.77 ounces, and you can see as we get into the size comparisons, this knife is pretty large. It's definitely going to be a little bit longer than the Paramilitary 2, you can see right here. So definitely pleased with the weight of this thing, especially considering the length. As you can see, it does have LC200 and steel, which is going to be completely rust proof, or 90% rust proof. Not going to be 100% rust proof like H1, but I'm not really worried about it. I do have experience with LC200N when it comes to the Spyderco Caribbean, as well as the Salt too. So this thing is going to be amazing. Again, some more comparisons as far as the length goes. Let me get this PM2 out of the way. You're going to have the Spyderco Philips Capara. This one just so happens to be a DLT Trading exclusive. Shout out to them. Was the first exclusive Capara. And then this is going to be the Endura 4. Currently waiting on the Pacific Salt 2, actually. Pre-ordered that thing a while ago. Really looking forward to it and how it compares to this guy right here, the Siren. And then one more Spyderco, just to keep it in the family, especially of the larger ones. We're going to go with the Native Chief right here in CTS XHP Steel, Cutlery Shop exclusive. But anyways, getting back into more details of the Spyderco Siren. Already just love the ergonomics of this thing. Wow, I'm honestly blown away. I'm not, obviously with this G10, not worried about it slipping out of my hands. It's definitely Vaseline factory ready, as Nick Shabazz would say. But man, love this grip right here. This is phenomenal. And now I do want to admit, 95% of the time, I would hate right here how far the cutting edge is from my finger. But when it comes to cutting up fish and what have you, I really don't mind that whatsoever. It's just going to protect your hands at the end of the day. Cutting up bait fish with this, I have gotten into some and, gotten stuck with some spines and whatnot. So, that's always fun. Definitely not going to have that problem with the Siren. Before I get into the colors of this thing, did want to do a watch check. Got the Seiko Samurai right here, the Great White Edition, or Save the Ocean Special Edition is really what it is. But you can see there's a little shark fin right there, as well as a shark fin shape on the second hand as it goes around. And then, of course, this wave dial. We'll be doing a video on this. I've had this for several years, but just really wanted to get that in front of the camera because I think it's really applicable to a fishing knife that has blue backspacers, or liners within the G10 scales, I should say. That is going to be a blue G10, a black G10 backspacer, and then blue G10 on the outside. And then one thing I really like, as I failed there on the Spidey Flick, is his signature designer emblem is a freaking fish. I mean, come on, guys. That's amazing. It's a fishing knife. It's got a fish. Yeah, I couldn't be happier. If you're into fishing, this knife is for you. Golden Colorado, which is really cool. I like to see that factory putting out work this phenomenal. Wow. This is just, it's perfectly smooth. Is this for real? I'm really surprised here. I'm not gonna lie. Not to, knock Spyderco. They're hands down my favorite brand. But the Golden Colorado factory usually does not have quite the best fit and finish. Here's it, for example, my Native Chief. You can see definitely your fingers will catch there, as opposed to the Taichung Taiwan factory. Here's the Capara. This thing is perfect, as is most Taichung Taiwan knives. I'd say you're definitely going to have a higher chance of, the fit and finish not being 100%, more like 95 from the Golden Colorado USA Earth factory. Man, all right, there we go. But wow, yeah, so okay, definitely impressed. Love the color of the blue. You can see it right there. Wow, this thing is amazing. I'll definitely be doing a close-up, especially outdoors, so you can see how that blue pops. It does have the deep carry wire pocket clip. This time it is black coated, which is really cool. I'm sure that's going to be DLT coated, probably the same that they would use on their DLT coated Manix 2 lightweights, or any of those knives you can see right here. After a while it rubs off. This was black, you can see in the start. This is actually my third pocket clip on this knife, but I'll get into that when I do my review. Another comparison actually for the size, and just a closed position comparison. You can see next to the PM2 how thick it is. Definitely much longer, but as far as it's actually going to be a little bit thinner up and down in the pocket, which is going to be nice. Now, a huge complaint is the grippiness of this G10 and in and out of the pocket. I'm not really too worried about that, especially because I'll predominantly be using this in the ocean for fishing purposes, even though I'm sure I'll EDC it all the time. But when I do, it'll be either in board shorts or just regular cotton shorts. So all those shorts honestly are already torn up from all my knives. That's just me personally, and I should really just open this with a thumb hole with my thumb while I'm on the camera right now before I break it in. But anyways, you can see when you press the lock back down, it does hit your finger right there, which is nice. You don't have to worry about the blade coming down. I mean, if you held it down here, you would, but just keep an eye on that. Did want to point that out, but no issue for me. I'm used to that with Spydercos, or with some of them, I should say, as I fail again. The other complaint I've seen, or, just thing to note potentially, is going to be, sorry, something on the G10 there. When you're using the knife, potentially depressing the lock bar, it kind of coming up. We'll see how that holds up over time. Right now, there's absolutely zero play side to side or up and down. And I'll definitely be crushing through some bones with this knife, so I'll definitely let everyone know how this LC200N holds up and how this lock holds up on the Spyderco Siren. Just fantastic knife. Really love this thing. You can see there is no stainless steel liners in there, so that does help keep the weight down, which I'm not going to complain about. This is G10 double layered. You can't, yeah, you can't. I just tried to squeeze that really hard. Yeah, not really happening. Man, I'm in love with this thing already. So excited. Not for everyone, for sure. A lot of the negatives, as I mentioned, the distance between the cutting edge and your finger, the grippiness of the G10. Not going to be for everyone with the EDC purposes, but, for fishing tasks, it's going to be great. So let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching.